You're outmatched. Leave now.
And you're outnumbered. Give me the blade and I will allow you to leave with your lives.
I don't give you the blade and you let us leave with our lives. See, son, this
That's
is a negotiation.
not the deal.
I'm changing the deal. Pray I don't alter it further. Hello and welcome. My name is Michael, and we're here today for a sample adventure of the Fate, or I guess technically Fae-powered game, Masters of Umdaar, which is, from my understanding, kind of loosely based on Saturday morning cartoons like He-Man or Thundarr the Barbarian, both of which I grew up watching and loving. And today I will be playing Rrrick Barkton, which I believe is like a dog sort of person. He's sort of like a Man-at-Arms meets Beast Man from He-Man is kind of how I figured them out. Joining us tonight, of course, is Chris. Chris, say hello to everyone. Tell us who you are and who you're playing.
Oh, hello, everybody. I'm Chris. You've seen me on Detention, several other shows here, also on the Redemption podcast, which is now called Smuggler's Blues, and we're doing that as a live stream every other Monday. We will be playing in a couple of days. We do enjoy audience members because as the GM, I found ways of tying in your comments into the game, and that's been a fun thing for me. Today, I'm going to be playing Tad the Radiant, a centaur mage. I may have said that wrong. But basically, I'm a humanoid cyborg with the legs of a toad. Got nice silver metallic skin with a little greenish hue. So I'm excited to see what Tad can do.
Excellent. And then I'm very excited to welcome back to the show once again my friend Devon, aka Sharkbone. And it's been way too long since I've had a chance to play with Devon or even chat with him. So I'm super excited that he's here. He's going to lead us through this game. So Devon, say hello to everyone, introduce yourself however you would like, and then kick off the game.
Hello, everybody. Like Michael said, my name is Devon from the Old Sharkbone podcast. You can find me on Twitter at @shark_bone, or watch my blog, which is updated very periodically, sharkbone.us. That's pretty much the only places I'm online these days, and I am excited to be here and excited to run this game. I've never actually played or run Masters of Umdaar before, but it looks like a ton of fun. So, Masters of Umdaar is it runs on the Fate Accelerated system, which is just a pared down version of Fate Core. So all of the main Fate bones are still there, but instead of a skill list, we have just 6 approaches. Stunts are a little simplified, but not too much. And those are really the huge changes between Fate Accelerated and Fate Core. So if you know Fate, chances are you know Fate Accelerated. And it's going to be fun. There is a introductory blurb in the book to introduce Umdaar, and I thought it was really cool, and I'm going to read it.
Excellent.
This is the planet Umdaar, where fear is abundant and mercy is scarce. The tyrannical masters reign over the scattered kingdoms, keeping their subjects ignorant and afraid. You are an archaeonaut, a brave warrior hunting down the ancient technology that can bring the planet out of its age of darkness. Do you have what it takes to survive the savage wilds that stand between you and your prize? Are you brave enough to defy the Masters of Umdaar?
I love it. We just need a commercial break here for the toy lineup, of course. Yeah, the action figures.
Rrrick Barkton with his magical blade. It's been so long since I made your characters, I don't even remember what they have.
Okay, well, we can do that. So again, I'm Rrrick Barkton. I'm a frill dog fighter, which is an anthro-canine with heat dissipating frill down the back and a mouthful of serrated teeth. Red eyes with orange fur and patches of red-orange scales around the joints. My aspects are large and loyal man-at-arms. Also, I must discover my missing son's location, and I can go through any obstacle. My best approach is forceful, and I have 2 stunts currently. Laser javelin. I don't know why I said that weird. Laser javelin. Once per scene, when I quickly attack and succeed with style, which I believe that means I get 4 higher than I needed.
3 higher.
3 higher.
Yep.
You can forego the boost and immediately attack again, either the same defender or someone else in the same zone. And I have claws, which are basically whenever I forcefully attack and succeed, I deal additional stress, and I can never be unarmed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
Nice.
Chris, if you don't mind, walk us through your Tad character.
All right. Like I said, Tad's a humanoid cyborg. He's got the legs of a toad, got the silver metallic skin with a greenish hue. I also wear a shimmering tailcoat, and I picture it being like different shades of purple as you kind of go up and down. It's
Okay.
got the almost like sequins, but they're not sequins. It's a different type of fabric.
It's totally sequence.
Well, my aspects, he's a toad-legged sorcerer clad in metal. I also have the aspect of what else shall I do with eternity? And then there's always time for a practical joke. That's my other aspect. 2 stunts I have shapeshift, sneaky, so I can use illusions to help myself sneak around. And then I have element manipulation. So I can manipulate one specific type of element. Now, it does have listed on here. Do I need to pick one now, or do I pick that in the scene?
Now, you could wait until the scene if you wanted to, or if you have an idea of what it would be, you can pick it now.
Okay.
But once picked, it's the same for the character from then on.
Perfect. Makes sense. All right. I will wait until we get into it and see how it goes.
And then both characters are missing one more aspect. And this is going to be the aspect that binds the 2 of you together.
Okay.
So, Tad, you'll create an aspect on who Rrrick is to you or how he fits into your crew. And Rrrick, you will do the same thing for Tad.
So again, I'm much more familiar with He-Man, and definitely I'm getting Orko vibes from Tad, though that may not be how you want to play them. I'm missing a son, so if you want to, maybe you've agreed to help me find them, and I will help keep you alive, or if there's something else, maybe there's some reason. I'm open to any suggestions you have.
Is Tad maybe the proxy for those familial feelings as you search for your son?
He's the son I've adopted to look for my son that I'm missing.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. I was trying to come up with something along the lines of, Tad here didn't have a dad.
Oh. We're the found family.
Yes.
All right. So Tad is the son I used to have. Is that never had? Yeah.
The son I used to have. I kind of like that.
That's the son I used to have.
That's a little tragic. And Tad is a centaur. You're a cyborg centaur kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I got you. Cyborg, centaur, Scytar.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
And both of you just randomly, luckily, became kind of mutant characters.
So we
rolled on the charts in the book.
Yeah, so we did have you, again, we're doing a lot of setup here. And if anybody's watching, there is no fate category in Twitch. So it's basically everything that we role play as D&D, but this obviously isn't D&D, but it is a role-playing game, similar to D&D, but different. So how were the characters generated? Because we don't want to take that too much time to do that on air.
Right.
But was it all random charts that you just randomly roll? How did that look like on your side?
Yeah, it was. There are several charts in the Masters of Umdaar book, so I just went down the line and randomly rolled the results, which is how Rrrick Barkton became a canine dinosaur fusion, and Tad became a centaur with the legs of a toad, which is not something normally, either combination is not something you would normally think of, but the random charts gave us that.
So that definitely has more of the Thundar the Barbarian feel than the He-Man in a way, just like that sort of mutant apocalyptic wasteland vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a big part of Umdaar. There are a lot of interesting metatypes. I forget the exact word they have. Bioform. That's what it is. In Umdaar, it's called a bioform, and you can either create it yourself, and they have suggestions on how to do that, or you can roll on the random charts to create your bioform, and then based on what you're good at, you can pick your class, which are like the standard D&D classes, or you can create your own class. Fate's pretty free and forgiving.
And again, the Master of Umdaar is a setting for Fate. Fate is a generic system of its own. And I think it's like $4 on DriveThru or something.
It's pay what you want.
Oh.
So you could potentially get it for free.
Yeah. Well, I hope a few people will check it out. Maybe pay a couple bucks,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Yeah. All right. So Tad is the son I used to have. We are currently looking for the other son I used to have. So how did you word yours, Chris? Am I like your father figure?
I just kept it a little less specific and just said, found that family I never knew I needed.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's very cool. All right. And we are playing the pre-made adventure that's in the Masters of Umdaar book called the Starblades of Su'ul. And what your characters know about the world of Umdaar is that ages and ages and ages ago, millennia ago, there was a demiurge that came to the planet. And the demiurge brought with it marvelous technologies, devices, stuff like that. And then it just left. No one knows why. It plunged the world into chaos until the masters came forth and they created their kingdoms. And those kingdoms have been constantly warring. So what you do as Archaeonauts is that you plunder the secret parts of the world of Umdaar, trying to find artifacts left behind by this demiurge, which can help you protect your people or pursue whatever kind of goals your character has. And that second aspect that each of your characters has is your motivation for why you are going out and looking for these artifacts. So Rick is looking for his son, and Tad is just doing it because he's going to live forever. And what else is he going to do with forever?
I mean, you get bored eventually. How many times can you watch reruns of Gilligan's Island? So I like to think that maybe my son was also one of these Arcanauts. So it's not like he's like a little kid who's like Timmy down the well. He's gone off searching, for lost technology and just didn't come home. So I assume that he's just found something or found trouble. So that type of thing. So I'm almost like retracing his footsteps, looking for stuff that maybe he would have found and would find him, or I might find technology that would let me contact him. Either one would work.
Sure. How long has it been since he's gone missing?
I would say it's been long enough that I'm starting to feel discouraged, but not so long that there's like no hope. So like maybe I assume there's normal Earth cycle years. I'll say like maybe 4 years.
Okay.
So it's not like been 20, but it's also been a long time to not have heard from them. And maybe in past adventures, I did find like evidence that they had been there type of thing. So I'm not discouraged, but I'm also getting worried about it.
Okay. So you're taking side gigs here and there to kind of pass the time and maybe happen upon a clue while you're looking for him. Yeah. All right. I like it. So last time on Masters of Umdaar, the two of you were chasing one of the Starblades of Su'ul. And you let it escape.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I blame Tad.
Yeah.
Probably.
So is Tad the one that botched it for everybody?
I think so.
How did Tad botch it for everybody?
I think Tad thought it would be funny or clever to replace this Starblade with a fake, but accidentally put the real one back, and the bad guys took off with that one, and we ended up with the fake.
Okay. And what are your impressions of Kaji Sa, the person who took the Starblade you were supposed to take? And Kaji Sa is a kind of snake person. She is, let me find her bioform. Her high concept is Saurian Sorceress Lieutenant. So she's kind of a very tall sorceress person. You can see her picture kind of right there.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
What were your character's impressions of her as she bested you in this last mission?
Go ahead, Michael.
I think the obvious is that she is a liar. She speaks with a forked tongue, some might say. So she essentially, we had bested her in combat. Then she said, "Okay, I'll surrender. I'll help you get where you're going in exchange for not hurting me or killing me or whatever." And we fell for her pitiful, not womanly wiles, but she ingratiated herself in a way and made it seem like she wasn't a threat. And of course, at the last minute, she tricked us. She probably knew that we had decided to make a fake, and maybe even helped Tad with that magical forgery, and that is how she ended up getting the actual one.
Okay. All right. So let's take those experiences from your previous adventure, and let's turn it into an aspect that's going to haunt you throughout this session. So maybe you guys are suckers for a sob story, or maybe you're out for revenge against Kaji-sa. Now, maybe you won't take any prisoners next time.
Ooh.
What do you two think you learned, or what emotional baggage are you carrying with you from that failure?
I think Tad here has a crush on her.
Oh.
And believes he can turn her to being good and being his girlfriend at the same time.
Okay.
Is it okay if I have a different one? And like mine's like, won't take prisoners next time. So I'm like bloodthirstily after her while Ted wants to date her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and write it in the, I think you should have a 5th aspect slot.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and slot it right there. That'll work perfectly.
I'm going to word it as blinded by, quote, love.
Okay.
And I went with, go ahead.
Distracted by. That makes better sense.
And I went with, oh, boo-hoo. No time for another sob story.
No, I like it. So there's just a little bit more background your characters would know. These Starblades of Su'ul, when they are all collected, they can be forged into a legendary weapon called the Fire Rain. No one knows what it's supposed to do or what the Fire Rain even is, but it's supposed to be a lot more powerful than the individual Starblades of Su'ul, and those things are pretty darn powerful all by themselves.
So what was the name of the weapon you cut out on me just for a second there when you were saying it?
Fire Rain.
Fire Rain, like R-E-I-G-N?
No, rain as in
R-A-I.
falling from the sky.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. And do we know how many Starblades there are? We have to collect them all, like Pokemon style?
No.
Okay.
You don't know the number, but perhaps on their pursuit, actually, yes, you do. There are 5 Starblades.
Okay.
Yep. And Kaji-sa already has 2 of them.
Ooh. Well,
the one she stole from you and one she got before.
We loaned her one, so she has one of ours for us, technically.
That's true. That's true. You have to get it back now.
That's right.
Although you do think you're on the tail of another Starblade, or you've heard that Kaji-sa might be on the trail of a Starblade.
So we're on the trail of the trail.
Yep. You have tracked one of her lieutenants to a tavern, and you're trying to see if he's going to spill the beans or if he's going to say anything. So we will go ahead and open the scene in a tavern, and it's a fairly large common room. Everything's made out of wood. Everything's roughly hewn and roughly polished. So it definitely looks like a frontier town saloon, Old West style. And it is just full. There are beings of every bioform here. There are cyborgs, there are humans, there are people who look like humans with traits of some other animal. There are people who have cyborg attachments to their limbs, all sorts of things. And the whole area is just covered in a haze of smoke, mostly from the open bonfire that's in the center of the room, but also because all of the other bioforms, all the other people here are partaking in something, one kind or another, of a smoking plant. And you walk in and look around, and you're not initially seeing the person who you were tracking, which his name is Mank the Merc. You've been on his trail for a couple days now.
All right. So as a canine-based life form, would I have the ability to like track by scent?
Sure.
All right. So I don't want to make it obvious, like I'm not, walking around. So I'm going to play the part, go up to the bar, order a drink and food, whatever, find a table. But while I'm doing that, I'm kind of like, I'm looking for a good table. So I'm kind of circling the room. But what I'm actually doing is trying to sniff out our target.
Sounds like maybe you're approaching this carefully or sneakily. Which way do you think?
I think sneaky.
Sneaky?
Yeah, would be good. So again, the way the game works, so you roll 4 fate die or fudge die, I think they're called. So they're like 2 negatives. So like 2 sides have negatives, 2 sides are blank, and 2 sides are positive. And that will get you a total of -4 to +4. And then on average, you'll get nothing. And then it just balances out to what your stat was.
Yes.
And I will be using my custom 12-sided dice for this.
And your difficulty is going to be +2.
All right. Well, it's true to the math. I rolled a wash, 2 positives, 2 negatives, so nothing. My sneaky is a 1, so I would have failed. But I have 4 fate points. Now, can I use those to just succeed, or do I get to roll again? How could I spend those as a currency?
You can spend one and invoke one of your aspects. So you find one of the aspects that helps you in this situation.
Okay.
And you can spend a fate point to add +2 to your die roll, or you can re-roll the dice. But in this case, I would recommend a +2.
Yeah, because that would be successful without any chance of failure. So I'll do that. So I think I'm actually going to use the Tad as the son I used to have, because my son and we used to work on this together as well. And, having traveled with Tad for a while, he kind of knows my process. And so he would be assisting me here by kind of helping focus, also helping to look around, so that he's aiding me in this process. He just falls into step and knows exactly what I'm doing.
Okay, sure. All right. So Tad gets roped into this sniff search for Mank the Merc inside the tavern house. And so you're kind of walking around. I envision Tad walking around the other side of it, just giving you some cues here or there, like, oh, is this the guy maybe? Or is that the guy maybe? And you're using your sniffer to see if he matches the scent you've been following this whole time. And eventually you do find him. And he has taken off his great fur coat, and it's actually sitting on a chair next to him, which is why you didn't immediately recognize him. But you see his sharp beard and his mustache that goes into the beard, and he is just drinking heavily and having a conversation with several other people at his table, and they're all intent on him. He is the focus of their conversation. And he does not see you or notice you at all. A serving woman will come up to Tad and kind of bump into you with her hip and say, what do you have, Shiny?
I have a tall glass of something green.
Oh, I got you. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
And she disappears.
So I feel like the best place to start with, let's get a table nearby and just sort of listen. Obviously, and also maybe wait till the looky-loos are getting bored of the story. So, if something happens, we don't have to deal with all of them. And we don't have any reason to think he knows who we are, right? Like, he's not going to recognize our faces and bolt or anything, would he?
Well, he does work for Kaji-sa, and you did kind of work with her this last time.
Okay.
But let's see if he would recognize you.
Or if I think he would. I may not know.
He was present during the last mission, so he would definitely recognize you.
All right, then I want to take a seat a little further away and to his back. And I was going to call out to Tad, tell him to hop on over here, but I will refrain from making that obvious joke because I don't want to draw attention to us yet. So we will just take hopefully with an earshot. I want to listen to what he's saying.
Sure. The best table in earshot is occupied. There are 2 individuals that are sitting there, one human, and she is sitting next to a man whose eyes glow red as cybernetic implants.
Do they seem to be paying attention to what this person's doing? Like they're part of the people listening or just happen to be there?
No, they just happen to be there. They're not interacting with Mank the Merc at all. They're just occupying the table that you've identified as the best spot for you.
Okay.
Let's take this table. And Tad's pointing to a table that's a little ways away.
Okay.
I have a plan.
Okay. All right. I'll take the seat at the table he suggested.
Okay. And what is this marvelous plan?
Tad's going to watch for a few minutes. And as soon as he sees the waitress or waiter that's working that table, he's going to really concentrate on what they look like. And then I want to shapeshift to look like that.
Okay.
That server and go over there and try to start serving drinks and listen in.
All right.
So,
sure. That sounds like fun. What did I put a page reference on your stunt or what does it say?
I can use illusions to change your appearance. You can sneakily create an advantage to give yourself a disguise aspect. If an opponent attempts to overcome this aspect to see past it, you can sneakily oppose their attempt.
Perfect. Okay. So you create the illusion on you. And what do you look like? What does the waiter or waitress for Mank's table look like?
I picture Mank being kind of a big, I'm not going to use the term meathead. So he's going to pick a table that's going to have a tall, beautiful woman. So that's the type of person he's going to want to serve him, with long, flowing black hair that goes all down to her waist.
Perfect. All right. So you walk up to Mank's table to take a drink order, or you're going to go to the bar and get drinks? How are you going to do it?
I'll get the drinks that are ordered and bring them over to the table.
Okay. Perfect. As you do, you see the little waitress that bumped into you, kind of looking around, scanning the crowd, trying to see where you ended up sat down. And she's holding a big mug of something that's brilliant green and bubbling and fizzing.
I'll try to wave them over. Like he had to go to the restroom. You can just put it right here.
Okay. She'll put it down and say, let me know if there's anything else you need. And she scans the room again, clearly interested in where Tad is. So Tad, as Marissa, the waitress, you walk up to Mank's table, and Mank looks up to you, and his eyes are bloodshot and red and a little weepy, and he says, Marissa, thank you. We need more drinks. We need to keep our strength up for Kaji-sa's adventures. And everyone else laughs with him. And then as you start setting down the drinks, he'll take it and just let his fingers kind of brush across the back of your hand. And they're, let's see, what is it? His hands are metal. And as the fingertips brush across the back of your hand, they kind of make a squeaking noise. And so he jerks his hand away and looks at you and is going to try and see through your illusion.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll your sneaky to resist his look. And I think he's rolling forceful. Not very well. I got a +1.
Well, that beats my 4 negatives on the dice and my +2 sneaky.
Oh, ouch.
You may want to use one of your
You could invoke
points,
an aspect to re-roll.
All right. So let's do that. All right, I'll re-roll it and then I'll figure out how that looks. That's a little better. That gives me a wash, which is a 2.
Okay.
And
That's better than my 1.
Yep. I think that Tad knows how important this is to Rick. So focusing on the found family, he wants to make sure that he succeeds to help find a clue potentially to where Rick's lost son is.
Can't let him down. I gotta do this.
Yeah. I like to think this is that moment where it's the show that we're playing is like pulling a pump fake, because it looks like he is seen through the disguise, but then we cut to commercial. But when we come back to commercial, they did see through the disguise, and then we just carry on the scene.
Yep. The Masters of Umdaar ride has opened at Worlds of Fun this summer.
Yeah. Bring your whole family. Kids, ask permission before you call.
Exactly. And so he'll take the drinks and kind of shoot a confused glance at Marissa. And then he will just keep talking. He'll say something about Kaji-sa is on the hunt for another one of those Starblades. If we help her find it, riches beyond our wildest dreams. And everyone's like, yeah, pounding the table, here. And he doesn't drop any more details other than just mentioning they're going to find it. No one's going to get in their way. This is going to be another blade for her collection. And once she gets the fire rain, she will rule all of Umdaar.
I think Tad, as he's saying that, reaches up and takes his finger and taps his nose, still looking like Marissa,
Okay.
and says, oh, well, when you do get rich, we're going to have to play. Where would you take me if we were to get rich?
Bachelor number 3.
Okay. And he leans back in his chair a little bit. He was not thinking he was going to get hit on by the waitress. He thought he was going to be doing the hitting on. And he says, I would take you to the blue beaches outside of Cronkite. They're amazing. When the moonlight hits them, they glisten purple. It's wonderful.
Sounds romantic. But where do you have to go before you get to there?
Go ahead and give me a roll.
All right.
How do you think you're approaching this? Clever, maybe?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. And I think I'm going to be rolling careful because I can't release this information.
So I washed on the dice, so that's a 3.
Okay. Ooh, I got a 1 on the dice, which gives me a 1. And he says, well, I'll have to pull the Starblade out of the psycho jungle first, and then will I take you to the blue beach.
Tad takes his hand and puts it in the back of his hair and runs his fingers through it. I look forward to it. And then kind of walks on his toes away. Kind of wiggles as he walks away, making sure that Mank here is watching.
Okay.
Hate to see you leave, but I sure do like watching you walk away.
And then Tad will sneak off into like where the employees are and drop the disguise and come back out to where Rick is.
Okay. And as you're walking back towards the employee area, the real Marissa is walking through the hallway as well. And she stops dead when she sees herself standing in front of her. And she says, what in the heck is this?
And that's when Tad will drop the illusion. I just like to have fun. By the way, Mank thinks he's taking you to some blue place where the water turns purple. Good luck with that.
And she twists her lips and says, that man's not taking me anywhere.
Oh.
And then she'll saunter back out.
Tad will make his way back over to Rick quietly.
Okay.
All right.
And you sit down, and there is a mug of green fizz sitting there for you.
Oh, my favorite. So we have to go to the Psycho Jungle. Yep.
So do we try to leave in front of them and like you disguise yourself as Mank, or do we take them out? Like what do you think the play is here, Ted?
Tad's going to look over. Do I think we have a chance of beating them in fisticuffs, or is this a good time for us to sneak out the back door?
If everyone at that table is working for Mank, it would be a tough fight. It's him, and there are 5 other guys at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So do we think Mank, was there like a row of horses outside or like metallic beast chariots? Like what, how did Mank walk here?
Yeah. This is some of the guys would have walked here, depending on what kind of appendages they have on the lower half of their bodies. But then some would be riding horses. There is actually a what kind of, we would recognize it as a hover cycle, but it basically looks like one of those sit-up exercise bikes, and it's just hovering over the ground.
Do we like give him food poisoning and then take his cycle? So I'll just drop some raw eggs into his fish platter. I don't know, like do something to him and then bolt, or do we want to follow him?
I think we want to get ahead of him. We don't want to wait.
Okay. So yeah, can you magic up some salmonella to put in his stew?
No, but we could just slip the bartender a few extra bills, and instead of weak drinks, have them really strong drinks, and then they pass out quicker.
All right, let's do that then.
Is there anything else I can get you, sugar? Says the now familiar waitress, standing very close next to Tad.
Yes. Get them really, really drunk really fast.
And she looks over, cocks an eyebrow. What's in it for me?
Have you ever heard of the Blue Beaches? I say.
I think Ted looks up and smiles big. I'll give you my number.
And her eyebrows climb up her forehead, and she's like, I'm not sure what that means, but it sounds romantic.
It is. The water will turn purple when we get there.
In a world without phones, if you say you're going to give her your digits, I think that means something different.
Maybe. I think this is a flashy roll, so go ahead and roll it.
Okay.
Just difficulty 0. She's really into Tad.
Yeah. He's a looker.
Well, that's exactly what I got with 0.
Okay. So that is a tie. So she wants something to sweeten the pot.
What's
a concrete promise.
All right. Rick here will pay for an all expense dinner with me and you, and he won't be there.
And she looks at Rick and then looks at you. When is this dinner going to happen?
As soon as we get back, I would say, and he looks down at his wrist, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And she pouts a little, but then nods. And she's going to lean down and smack a big kiss on your metal cheek and say, it's a date. And then she disappears and loads up a tray with strong drinks and just dumps them on the table with Mank the Merc.
Excellent.
And they all kind of look a little surprised and up at her. And she says, on the house. And they just go to town.
Excellent.
And then we'll cut that scene and move on to the next one. You guys are outside of the bar, and there's a pool of light, yellow light, coming out from the door, but everywhere else is just darkness. There are some trees kind of in the distance, but the land right here is clear. And it looks like it rained recently and it was all churned up, but then it dried, so it's really bumpy and churned dirt. And there's that line of beasts of burden that people rode in, and that one scooter thing.
Does any of them have like a Manx license plate, like anything to identify, like clearly this is Manx?
Oh yeah, of course. The scooter.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
It has got, someone has glued fur fringes on it that match his coat.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, I want to steal his hover cycle.
Okay. I think we'll need a roll for that. How do you think you're approaching it?
I think sneaky. Again, I want to try to like,
Okay.
you know, the classic sort of hot wire it with the 2 wires, or maybe even like put it in neutral and roll it away a little bit. I don't know how loud the cycle would be when it starts up. I don't want them to know we're doing this. So I'm definitely going sneaky, however that's going to look.
Okay. All right. Give me the roll. Difficulty will be 2.
Ooh, that is going to be, well, no, that's a wash. So I will use another one of my fate points. And I can go through any obstacle. I'm not going to let the fact that this was difficult stop me.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, it was one instead of doing the old fashioned like hot wire, I had to do like the push it and get it rolling and then pop the clutch. So it turned from a sneaky into a forceful halfway through. But I was far enough away that no one could hear it.
Okay. And the bike, as you kind of push it, starts making this weird noise, like ha, ha, ha. And then once you get it started going, and whatever kind of motor is inside it kicks on, it actually sounds like the bike is giggling when you're riding it away.
That's what the bike's
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So,
exactly.
Yep. So Tad can jump on the back, put his arms around me, and we'll head on.
Giggle away.
Was it the Psych Forest or jungle? What was it?
Psycho jungle.
The Psycho jungle. We are heading straight for that.
Yes.
And I picture this scooter is just barely big enough for the 2 of us, and Tad's on the back and his tailcoat is just flopping in the wind.
And you're just cruising down the road, and every time you get to one of those ruts that was dug up when it was muddy and it hits the bottom carriage, it kind of launches you up, and the scooter says, ow! And then
Okay. Did not expect that. How you doing, buddy? I'll like rub the gas tank, like try to make friends. Good boy. Good boy.
That's where the scene cuts.
Okay.
And we will have the new scene start as you see the sun peeking up over the horizon. The sky is that lovely orange just as the sun is rising. There are a few clouds spotting here and there, and you have traveled the rest of the night through the grasslands, and now you are coming up to the Psycho Jungle. And the Psycho Jungle doesn't begin gradually. It's just all this grassland that you've been driving to, and then boom, the Psycho Jungle starts. Just an immediate wall of jungle trees. And they're tall and towering, and they've got big leaves, and you can just feel the humidity blowing out from the forest. And you smell foliage, and you smell life, and you smell decay. And there are sounds coming from the inside of the forest that you've never heard before. There are animals in there that you're not familiar with. And quite a few of them have mating calls that sound like insane laughs, which is probably where the jungle gets its name.
Mm.
It's
That's not unsettling at all.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, this is what
It's
we didn't
probably
promise
a little
to take.
scary for for Saturday morning cartoon kids. Quite a few of them are having nightmares from this.
So do we know anything about, are we familiar? Is this like a geographical place of the world we were already familiar with? Because I mean, I'm assuming the jungle is just a big place. We just go in the middle and hope we get lucky, or is there like a space to look for inside there?
There are, why don't you go ahead and give me a roll? Probably clever, and we'll see what you know about the Psycho Jungle.
Okay. I know 0 about the Psycho Jungle.
Okay.
But maybe Tad might be the one to ask. I have a feeling he's going to be more likely to know something. So I'll say, Tad, what do we know about the Psycho Jungle? Over my shoulder. It's the same animation. Like every time we see us, it's the same animation.
That's better. I got a 4.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So I will answer 4 of your questions about the Psycho Jungle.
Perfect.
What the hell?
I would say, is there any major landmark or like tourist attraction? That's what I was looking for. Is there a major tourist attraction in the Psycho Jungle?
Six Flags Psycho Jungle?
The Psycho Jungle is not for the faint of heart. This is not a place where people would go to have a good time. This is where adventurers such as yourselves would go to try and find more artifacts of the Demiurge. So no, there are no tourist destinations.
Gotcha. Is there any archaeological sites of significance?
Yes. Anytime someone talks about the Psycho Jungle, the conversation always comes to the Temple of the Twin Suns. Now, you're not sure why it's called the Temple of the Twin Suns, but that's what it's called. And it's supposedly deep inside the Psycho Jungle. And you may have dreamed about going and visiting this temple from time to time, but traversing the Psycho Jungle always seems like a scary idea.
Gotcha. I would say, what's the most dangerous part of the jungle?
Okay. The most dangerous part of the jungle is the wildlife. There are a lot of weird and disturbing animals here. It seems that whatever influence the Demiurge had over the world concentrated its effects here in the Psycho Jungle. And so life just took on strange aspects.
And we got one more. You got an idea, Michael? I have.
I mean, I guess, do we know how to get to the thing? Like, do we know where the Temple of the Twin Suns is located or how to find it?
It is deep in the center of the jungle, but you're archaeonauts. You'll be able to find your way there.
Okay.
Cool. Is there any kind of preparation you would like to do before delving into the depths of the jungle?
So maybe you could have used a question on this, but like, is it a nighttime or daytime travel better for the animals? Like, are they more nocturnal that we would have to worry about? Is there any sort of like repellent that we could make or create to make us less attractive to the wildlife as we go through?
Hey, making a repellent sounds like a create advantage roll. So you can just do that, and that'll create an aspect that you can use to run animals off.
Okay. Let's have a cutscene where we do that.
Sure. What does that look like? Are you picking up random herbs and like sniffing them, tasting them a little bit, putting them in a cup and
we have a little
them?
mortar pestle, and we're going that, and then we're like kind of slathering it on our necks and foreheads. But the animation doesn't change. So even though we do that, we always look the same because they don't want to redo the cells every time.
Of course. Yep. That costs money.
It does. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right. So give me a clever roll.
Dad, you want to take that one?
Sure.
I'm more of an idea man.
So where before it was Rick watering and pestling everything, we just kind of rewind, and now it's Tad watering and pestling everything.
The camera slightly shifts to seeing Tad actually doing it, and we look over and I'm making mud pies or something like completely innocuous.
I got a 1 total.
Okay. That doesn't quite hit the difficulty of 2. So you could spend another fate point to invoke something, or you could opt to succeed at a cost. This would be a major cost because you failed the roll.
I think I'm okay not succeeding on this for now.
Okay.
But we think we did. Very important.
Yes.
We think that we're great.
Yes. I
All
think
right.
we should also make sure we get like a basic survival kit. So something to filter water, small machete, that kind of stuff. That
Sure.
What are the typical things you see in the jungle movies where they're cutting through and they're always drinking out of the canteen? It never seems to empty.
In Fate, characters are assumed to be very capable.
Okay.
And we don't really worry about gear unless it has an aspect attached to it, because that means it's
perfect.
important. So yes, if you pull out a machete and start hacking away at foliage, you have a machete. It just doesn't have any mechanical weight behind it until we say it does.
I think this is a perfect time for me to pick my element manipulation.
Okay.
I'll just take plants because I think we're about to find several of them.
I like it. Sounds good. So you dive into the jungle and big leaves are in your way, stands of bamboo analogs. It's just, there is a ton of stuff here. And there's one point where you're taking a quick breather, getting some water, because even as a centaur, you probably get tired and you get thirsty, obviously. And there is a low growl that comes off to the right side. And you look over there, but there's nothing.
Don't worry, Ted. We have this repellent. We should be fine.
And then with that, the birds start chirping again, and you don't hear the growl again, and your hearts come back down from your throat. Oh,
see, we're totally
there.
fine. Yeah. So I assume we don't have the cycle with us, so we had to leave it outside the jungle. We're on foot. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. We would have wanted to hide that, like throw some leaves over it or camouflage or something.
Sure.
Tangle it up with some plants and vines.
Yeah. You control those. Like, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So actually, since I have claws, I'm going to say that I'm clawing through instead of machete, and I'm in front.
Okay.
And that way Tad has a machete in case he needs it. And I'm following basically his direction because, again, he's the clever one. So I'm basically going straight as I pick a point in the distance, and then I go to that tree, and then I pick another point in the distance. I go to that tree unless something happens. So I'm just
sure.
Through.
Give me a roll to navigate.
All right. Would you be okay with forceful since I'm just plowing through?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, you're pushing through that jungle. Difficulty of 1.
That would be a 6.
Oh, fantastic.
Wow.
So you succeeded with style.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and create an aspect, and we're going to call it right on the dot. And you get 2 free invokes on that.
Right. Excellent. So at some point, like I'll pick one of the trees and again use my claws to kind of climb up, and I'm looking for identifiable landmarks, evidence of this temple. Anything I see, I go back down, and then we're just making our way deeper and deeper into the jungle.
Okay. And at this point, you're still pushing through. You've been pushing through for a couple hours now. It's hard work. You're just drenched in sweat. All of your fur is matted down to your body. And then you swipe through a last leaf, and there's nothing in front of you. You just stumble out into this clearing. And it is perfectly smooth, dark earth. It's a little wet, it feels like mud, but it's tightly packed mud. So tightly packed that you're not even really leaving boot prints on the ground when you step on it. And in the very center of this clearing is a stone pillar. Or maybe it's not stone. It's kind of hard to tell because your initial thought is it looks like stone, but it has writing on it. And then as you step to one side, the shimmer that you get from the pillar changes. You're not exactly quite sure what is going on here.
Is that stone, Tad? It kind of looks like stone, but the way it's shimmering, I'm not sure that's what it is.
Nope. I don't think we should go near it.
Oh, okay.
Tad picks up a rock and is going to try to hit this pillar with a rock to see what happens.
Okay. You chuck the rock at it, and it hits with a tink and then clatters to the ground. It doesn't even bounce. It just hits it and then just drops straight down to the ground.
That's not unsettling. Can we read the writing from here or see what it is?
Not from here.
See, this doesn't fit. This smells like a trap. So we should let Mank spring the trap.
But we don't think this is the Temple of the Twin Suns, right?
No, it doesn't look like the stories.
Okay, so then we should skirt around the edges, get to the other side, and then continue on then, and leave this for Mank.
We should make sure we don't trip any traps while we do it.
Well, yeah, I mean that's why we want to skirt the exterior, like right on the edge of this dirt. Like we're not going to get any closer to it than we have to, and then once we're on the far side of where we are, we'll continue on.
And as you're just chatting about that and decide, yeah, we're just going to skirt the edge here and keep going.
Yeah.
There, you hear a growl, a deep rumbling growl coming from the other side of the clearing.
We're fine. We have that.
Would you stop doing that? That's getting annoying.
I didn't eat enough. My stomach's hungry.
And from the shadows of the foliage on the other side of this clearing, step 3 wolf-looking things. They look like they have the body of wolves, but their forelegs are completely mechanical. And they have what look like a metal spine running down the middle of their back that goes into a metallic articulated tail. And the end of that tail has a large muzzle.
Like a gun
and
barrel?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they step out and they're looking right at you and stalking towards you, and their lips are curled back and you can see their fangs dripping down onto the mud, and they look like they're going to fight you.
So I'll do the thing where we stop and go, don't move. Their sight is based on movement.
No, it's not.
Oh.
And they charge.
Run!
And they lunge towards you. And are you going to run? Or are you going to try and fight these guys off?
I think first, Tad's going to, using my little element manipulation, picks up a big stick, goes, here, boy, and throws the stick and tries to see if he can trick them into fetching and hope that Rick doesn't chase it.
Oh.
Where's the ball?
Okay, so this will be a contested roll. So you'll roll versus probably they're clever to see through your ruse.
Okay.
What approach are you rolling?
Probably clever.
Okay. Well, that was a bad roll.
Yeah, I got a 1 total.
I got a -1 total.
Yay.
So you throw that and you're going to put a distracted aspect on one of these guys as they veer off. So that still leaves 2 wolves coming at you.
All right. I will use a laser javelin. You can't have a laser javelin on your sheet and not throw it at least once. So that's
true.
All right. And I will use quickly because if I do hit, I get to use my stunt. So I'm going to quickly throw a laser javelin at the front wolf.
Awesome.
And
I'll go quick.
4.
Oh, that was a very good roll. First good roll all day. I got a 7 to dodge out of the way.
Yeah, can't do nothing about that. So I am very excited as my laser javelin goes straight for the wolf, and then it seems to move out of the way at the last minute without, almost like it teleported. And then I go, and then we cut to a commercial, and then we come back, and I'm like, that was weird.
Yep. And they are going to attack now.
All right.
So the first one that dodged under your laser javelin, it runs right up to Rick, and it's going to lunge at you. And it's going to try and do a forceful bite onto your leg.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and pick how you're going to be defending.
Forceful.
And roll your dice.
Yeah, this is definitely my wheelhouse.
Wow, that's a good roll too.
I got a 6.
I got a 4.
Nice.
But I'm going to use the boost I got for succeeding with style on my defense, which brings me up to a 6.
All right.
And then I'm going to spend a And fate point to invoke his motivation of mad with hunger. So that is going to give me a success.
All right.
With 2. And now you can spend some fate points to boost your result if you would like.
No, I'm going to hold on to the 2 I got left. So
okay.
I get bit.
So he lunges at you, and his teeth close around your scaly thigh, and the teeth kind of slide across the scales. So man, it hurts.
Oh.
And you're going to take 2 stress.
2 stress.
And so each box that you have on your character sheet absorbs a number of stress equal to its position.
Okay.
So the first one absorbs 1 stress, the second one absorbs 2, the third one absorbs 3.
All right. So I'll
so you
use
can check
the 2
off 1 box. Okay. And that absorbs the 2 stress. And then the other one is, let's see, is it going to go after it's going to go after Tad, because there's just 2 of them.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And it is going to kind of rush around the group and kind of slide to the side as its tail whips up over its head, kind of like a scorpion, and it fires off a laser blast at Tad.
Okay.
Using quickly.
Right.
Okay, that gives me a 2 to hit you.
All right.
How do you defend?
I think Tad, knowing that they were coming this way, was using the terrain to his advantage. So he's trying to, I guess, jump behind something and be sneaky about it.
You're right next to the edge of this clearing, so you can like step behind a bush or something, try and get a little bit of cover. So are you using clever?
Yep, that's what I meant, clever. So that gives me a 3.
Perfect. That beats my 2. So you succeed. And then we are back on top. We didn't really have initiative order. And typically you would establish an order, but we didn't do that because we were just kind of rolling with the story. Okay. So I think we'll just do what they've called popcorn initiative, where whoever goes picks who goes next, and then that person picks and that person picks until everyone's gone. Okay. So I'm going to pick Tad to go in this second round.
Perfect. So Tad kind of jumped behind some foliage and's got a plant in between him and this little wolf thing. And he's going to, again, use his element manipulation and have a bunch of these little vines and stuff reach up and try to grab this wolf and pull it down.
Okay. How does that work with the stunt?
It says clever. You can move and manipulate a specific type of element. Pick a broad type of element. So I pick plants. Whenever this element is present in a scene, you can attack without a weapon. If the source of the element is abundant, you gain +2 when cleverly creating advantages using that element.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make your attack roll. I think because I'm just resisting being pulled down to the ground with plants, I'm going to be resisting with forceful. Because I just got to flex my big wolf muscles.
Right. Okay. So I rolled 3 positives on the dice. My clever is 3, so that's 6. Ooh. Since it's abundant, do I add the +2 with that?
That's just for creating an advantage.
Okay. And
you're doing the attack action right now.
All right, got it.
And I got a 4.
So 6 is what I got.
Okay. So you're going to wrap around this guy, and it just slams him to the ground. And with a whimper, he kind of collapses under the weight of the grasping vines. And then you can pick who goes next.
I'll have Rrrick go next.
All right. Rrrick is going to use his claws and try to swipe this wolf thing that bit my leg.
Okay.
That was not good. That's a 1.
I got a 5 on my defense.
Yeah.
So you slash your claws through the air where the laser wolf used to be, but it has danced to the side.
This one can teleport.
And it teleports forward to get its gnashing teeth around your other leg.
Oh, not my other leg.
And I got a 5 to get you with quick.
All right.
You can do it.
No, I can't. All right. So yeah, I'm going to use one of my fate chips there because I rolled a complete wash.
Okay.
So I'm going to invoke I must discover my son's missing location. I feel like we're getting really close, and I can't just deign to lose at this point because of this stupid wolf. That's not going to keep me away from my son. So that would give me a 5 total.
Okay. So that is a tie, which gives the wolf a boost because he didn't actually cause any stress to you, but he did tie your defense.
Okay.
And so since this is the last wolf I have and he just acted, we'll go on top, and I'll say, Rick, you go first.
All right. So once again, I'm going to try this again. If I can use my claws, because I get to do extra damage if I hit. Whew. That's a 2.
Okay. And I got a 4 with my forceful to just kind of tough it out.
Yeah. So yeah, we're like, it's the same, images over and over again. Me going this way and then it coming this way and then me going that way. Tad, help, Tad.
All right. Tad looks over and sees a large branch on a tree, and using my element manipulation gun, pulls that branch back and then lets it go swinging towards the wolf, trying to baseball it.
Nice. Hit it towards the thing. Let's see what happens if one of them goes that way.
Yeah. That's
Ooh, I got a 0 on the dice,
I got a
which
4.
gives me a 3 quick. Oh, nice. So you hit it.
So I got a 4.
You hit it and you send it flying. It hits it and you hear the arr, and it goes flying through the air, and its hip kind of clips the top of the stone pedestal in the center of the clearing and sends it tumbling through the air until thump on the ground on the other side. And it cries out again as it hits, and it'll quickly get to its feet and just take off in the other direction, fleeing.
Yeah, you better run.
Yeah.
As you're rubbing your injured legs.
Or Rick will bleed on you more.
That's right. No one makes me bleed my own blood.
All right, so that ends the combat. The other wolf is still held down to the ground from all the vines, and it's looking at you, and its eyes are scared, and its tail is kind of thrashing back and forth. But eventually, the vines will kind of loosen their grip and just go back to being normal plants, and it'll squirm its way out and take off, leaving.
Yeah, I don't think we have any reason not to do that.
Mm-mm.
It's weird. These must be resistant to that resistant thing we had on us.
Yeah, the repellent.
The repellent, yeah, they're resistant to it. Or they're so hungry that they overcame the repellent. Must have been it. They looked really hungry to me.
Yeah, you've done that before.
I have. So I kind of feel like I do want to check out this pillar now. So
Okay.
While we're recuperating, I'm going to get a little closer. I'm going to try to get close enough so I can read it without touching it.
Sure. And as you kind of stumble forward, you have a chance to take a breather, just catch your breath a little bit, and all the stress you took will shake out.
Okay.
It'll just go away. You didn't take any consequences, so nothing sticks around. And you get closer to the pillar, and you can see, as you get closer, it actually is like the same color of stone, and it has the grain of stone, but it has kind of a shimmering effect that happens underneath. So maybe the stone is some kind of facade covering maybe an artifact. And as you look at the writing, you can see that it is that ancient writing that is on demiurge artifacts sometimes. Although maybe you don't know how to read this. I don't know. You want to give me a clever roll and see if you do?
Sure.
Difficulty is going to be 4.
Okay. That's no problem. I just got to get 4 pluses on my die.
It's possible.
Hey, Tad, can you read this?
Sure. Yep.
It's got a little symbol that looks like this, and then there's another symbol underneath that kind of looks like this, and there's one that looks like a fish swimming. I'm just trying to describe it to him. I assume eventually Tad will just walk up and read it because my descriptions are so bad.
Yeah. You said you needed 4 successes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I got. So 7.
So you succeeded with style. Yeah, so it is actually kind of like a milepost marker, and it's giving you the direction to the Temple of the Twin Suns, although it calls it something different. Although translated, it's kind of Temple of the Twin Suns,
Okay.
But in Demiurge language, it's something like temple of the two hearts of fire. And it points you right in the direction you were going already. But then it also gives you a schematic of the temple, a description of what it looks like on the inside. So we'll go ahead and create an aspect that says, you know, the internal layout of the temple.
All right, so this is mile marker 12. We have just a little bit further to go. And right here, this thing here, that actually shows you the layout. So we need to go here, then there, and then over here, then down here. But don't go here, and definitely don't go up there, but then go over here, and then we have to just slide down here.
It's all Greek to me.
Yep.
What's Greek?
All right.
So,
right. And you walk into the jungle on the other side of this clearing, following your direction. And then the scene cuts, and immediately you're walking out of the jungle again. And in front of you is a giant overgrown temple. And it kind of sits in a depression right in front of you. In front of you is kind of a cliff.
Brother. Sorry. Same.
I found it. I found it. It's right there. Right there. Found it.
Great, Ted. Thank you so much. Good job.
You're welcome.
Ruffle his head. Love you, buddy.
Your the flesh on your fingers squeaks as it runs over the polished metal of his dome. He likes to keep himself squeaky clean all the time. Right in front of you, the jungle floor just ends and dives down deep into the depression where this temple is. And it kind of looks like the land and the jungle grew up around where this temple was. And for some reason, not even the rising ground or stones or anything rolled into the temple grounds. The temple grounds were somehow protected. And you look down, and the sun is actually streaming from the opening above because, you know, there are no trees growing there. So the branches only reach so far out, and the sun is streaming down and kind of providing this bright area of sunlight on the temple. And you don't see anybody down there at all.
I think we got here first.
You have the map. Lead the way, Ted. Or if you tell me, I'll go first. But, you know, I don't make sure I don't step on the thing that will, like, you know, set off the trap.
Yep. Let's go this way. And
okay.
Tad will lead us based on the layout that he got on the mile marker down where we need to go.
So you know where you need to enter. But first we got to get down into the depressed area. So just put yourself in that mental headspace, you know, allow yourself to be brought down. Or you could just tie a rope to a tree and rappel.
Yeah, that's
down.
what I'm thinking.
That would work too.
Yeah. I'll have like a
yes.
harness on my hip, like a D-ring, and I'll, you know, and then I'll do like the Australian frontwards rappel because it looks cooler.
Okay. Just run down.
Yeah.
On the side.
Yep.
Okay. You get down there, and the feeling of the air changes down here. Whereas up above, there was a feeling of life. Even though life wanted to kill you, there was a feeling of life and noises and the breezes and everything. Down here, like even the very air changed. There's less humidity, and it feels a little stale. But you're able to walk towards the temple without any questions, without any problems. And there is a very long, very shallow staircase that walks up to the entrance.
All right, I'll run belay for Tad just to make sure, you know.
Okay.
He's okay.
Yeah. You both get down, no problem. And the massive wooden doors are hard like stone, but they're grained like wood. And they swing open silently and with ease. Like, even though this place looks old, it is in pristine condition.
Is this normal for these Demiurge artifacts locations? Or is this unusual? Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. It's marvelous technology that was left behind, so.
Which is actually...
and
more creepy than if it like creaked open.
Right.
Right. Perfect.
So,
All right. So inside the main door, there is different colored stone on the floor that kind of looks like red carpet leading in.
Mhm.
And give me a careful roll, I think.
both of us.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
Unless you're not being careful.
oh, not at all. Is there light inside, or do we need?
Yes, there's a little bit of dim light coming in through the ceiling somehow.
I got a 3.
Okay.
I have a 0.
All right. So Tad is being careful, and any slight crack or odd-looking spot on the floor, you're kind of dodging it, wary of pressure triggers, that kind of thing. Rick gets distracted by looking over at a statue that looks a lot like him. That's weird. It's strange that there was someone click underneath his foot. And then there is a rumble, and then walls slam down around you, and then water starts to flow in. And you're in a fairly large place, like it's probably 30-foot square around you, but it's starting to fill up with water.
Okay. I am going to try to punch my way through this, claw, Wolverine style. Again, I can go through any obstacles. An aspect force was my best thing. So yeah, I think this is a punching obstacle.
Okay. All right. This is, here we go. Forceful, you said?
Yep.
Okay. All right. There are a couple of situation aspects here.
Okay.
Expert craftsmanship,
Uh-huh.
because it's demiurge craftsmanship, and then panic builds.
Uh-huh.
All right. And your difficulty for forcefully breaking your way out of here is 5.
I failed.
Okay.
So I'm not making a dent, Tad.
I see that. Tad is looking around and trying to figure out where the water is coming from. And then he's going to try to see if there's a way he can jam something in there to keep the water from continuing to flow.
Okay. It is coming up from the edges where the stone meets the floor. And as you're looking, you see in a small band around the base, there are some faintly glowing glyphs.
Okay. So trying to read the glyphs. Maybe there's a pattern that Tad can push that will shut this off.
Okay. And you're rolling clever?
Clever. Yep.
Difficulty 3.
All right. I got 5.
Oh, fantastic. All right. So you kind of look at the glyphs and you think that there is a certain order you could press them in that maybe would raise these walls and let the water flow away.
All right. Tad's Rick, you press that one, I press this one, and then you press that one next, then I'll press this one, and it should work.
Okay.
All right, Rick.
Pressing
You're
fingers.
doing that.
Doop, doop. Yep. I'm following instructions.
How are you approaching it? Which approach are you using?
Careful.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure I'm doing it correctly.
Sounds great. Make your roll. Difficulty of 1.
Almost cocked eye. Hey, I got a 1.
Okay. Do you want to try for success with style by getting 3 above the difficulty?
Sure. So I will invoke.
Now, could you, the aspect that I created of layout of the temple, could you use that one?
Yeah.
There's okay. So that is
Yeah, I
my
think so.
last fate point.
Actually, you have a free invoke on it.
Oh, okay. And that's not my
So
last.
boom.
Okay, so yeah, so I will use that. Get us to 3.
Yep.
That this
You need
matches.
one more to succeed with style.
Oh, okay. So then I would have to use the fate point to do.
Well, you have that right on the dot that we have 2 on that as well. Could you use
Would
that
it work here though?
I don't think it would, and that one's probably gone because we're already
okay.
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I didn't realize they went away.
Yeah.
I understand now.
So could I actually use the craftsmanship of the trap itself, because it is so well constructed that once we figure out what to do, it's almost like simple. It's like,
Of course.
yes, clear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
So yeah. All right.
Boom.
So then
All right.
yeah.
So boop, 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 boom. And that last tone just kind of reverberates throughout the whole temple. And then the
So it was up, up, down, down, left, right. BA start.
AB select start.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And then the water kind of just descends into the floor. It's really strange because it's non-porous stone, but the water came up from it and the water went down through it. And man, the demiurge was wonderful. It's crazy.
Wonder why they left. Weird.
Right? It's weird.
It's weird.
Have you met some of us?
True. We are awful.
And as you stumble out, sloshing and knocking water out of your boots and maybe taking your socks off and wringing them out, there is a glint at the end of the hall that catches your eye, and the camera pans and follows the kind of the red carpet colored stone, and then pans up, and there is a large pedestal that kind of sweeps and flows around, almost as if it were sculpted. And on top of that, kind of floating and rotating, is a sword. And there is kind of like when the blade turns, it has a shimmering rainbow effect up the blade until it reaches the top, when then it gleams with a brilliant light. And then the sword rotates again until it happens again. And hopefully that's the sword you came here for.
Unless it's a fake. We'll have to check that.
Who would do that?
Yeah.
Who would ever think of a fake?
Well, if you can do it now, let's just make sure we take the right one this time. But I've already set off a trap. So despite my desire to get a hold of this blade before anyone else, I'm going to let Tad continue to lead.
Okay.
You should step where I step.
My feet are too big. I did technically step where you step, but my foot's way bigger than yours.
Walk on your toes.
That's hard to do. Heels, maybe? I need to get some.
It's so awkward.
I need to get some of those shoes. They're like peg shoes. So they my whole foot, but they, yeah.
I think those are called high heels.
Oh, okay, yes. I was thinking more of like a center peg. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right. Tad will, as carefully as you can, walk up there and inspect the area and make sure that there's no more traps.
Sure.
And try to inspect the sword to see if that's the one we're looking for.
Okay. Give me a roll looking for traps. What approach are you using?
I think I'll use clever because Tad likes to do practical jokes, so he knows what he would do to trip somebody up.
All right. +2 difficulty.
Well, that'll give me a 3 total because I washed on the dice.
Okay. That is a success. There are no traps on the pedestal. And then you want to inspect the blade.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Same roll or same?
Make it a different approach. How do you approach it with a different approach?
Okay. I think this time I'm going to be carefully inspecting it to look and see if I can notice if there's any runes or glyphs on the blade, that blatantly say what it is.
Perfect.
Well, that's a 1 total. It's not quite as good.
That's a success. This is very obviously an actual Starblade.
Tad just turns his head slowly and looks at Rick. Well, this is it, but I think this is just too easy.
It feels wrong, but maybe we have just conditioned ourselves to be pessimists, and we should be optimists here. and I'm going to reach up and take the blade.
Children sitting in front of their TVs worldwide cheer out, "Yay!" And Rick reaches out, grabs the blade, lifts it above his head, and the sunlight hits it just right. And it's like a pillar of sunlight envelops Rick, and a choir sings out. And
I have the Starblade.
And the camera whirls around you, and you end up wearing a fur loincloth or something. You instinctively know the name of the blade. It is called Oriax, the Fear Sun. And you know that once per scene, you could call out the name of the weapon when you're doing something fast or in a flashy manner. And that releases a mental attack against one enemy in sight who cannot add an approach to their defense roll.
Oh, okay.
That's fun.
That's pretty BA.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we wanted to get this before Gaiji saw.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, we didn't have a lot of emphasis or, obviously I didn't see any signs of my son. So I think we're done, right? Is there a reason to keep exploring for additional technology from the bygone age, or should we just try to leave and see what happens?
Always a reason to find more artifacts.
Okay. Well, then I would say I'll leave it up to Tad. Do you want to keep exploring in this place?
Yeah, I think we should. I think that there's got to be more to this than just the sword, because people have been here before, so why wouldn't they just take the sword?
Maybe they weren't optimists. See, son, glass half full kind of people.
Right.
Maybe.
So Tad's going to keep looking around for other stuff.
Sure. How do you approach that?
Right now, he's very nervous, so he's very carefully looking around. He's convinced that something else is going to pop up at any minute.
Sure. Give me a roll.
Well, I washed on the dice again, so 2.
Okay. So you find a little cylinder that is just matte black. Like, it looks like it should be shiny like a mirror, but it doesn't seem to be reflecting any light at all. And it feels cold to the touch. Not sure what it does, but it's definitely demiurge.
And we've never encountered anything like this before in our travels.
No, not like this one.
I found this.
Did you want to look again too, Rick?
I mean, I'll shake it. Is it like a magic 8-ball? Like, I'll give it a good shake and see what happens.
What do you say anything when you shake it?
I'll ask it a question.
Or think anything?
Yeah, I'll ask it a question. I wonder if my son has been here.
Okay. And you shake it.
And I shake it.
And as you shake it, you hear it sounds like sand being shaken in a gourd or something like that. And then with each shake, an image seems to form in front of you. And at first, it's very grainy, and you really can't tell details. But the more you shake it, the more the image starts to take shape in front of you. Like, more grains of sand are added to the image, and you see a figure kind of walk up to the pedestal and kind of look around. And then look in a direction and wave at someone and walk off that way. And as the image replays and more bits of sand are added to it, you can tell that it is Rick's son.
Ooh. But we can't see who they're waving to?
Mm-mm.
Can we see which direction that was? Like, could we then go that same direction?
Well, I mean, he was just within the temple and waved at someone and walked towards whoever he waved at.
Okay. So he was here.
Was here.
But didn't take the sword.
Nope.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
It is interesting. But I don't want Keiji-Saw to have it, so we're keeping it.
Right.
All right. Interesting. Tad, do you want to try the magic shaky stick and think of something different?
Sure.
All right.
Tad will grab the cylinder and
You've been training for this
shake
your
it.
whole life, son.
Yeah, shake it as fast as he can. And he's going to try to, he thinks to himself, wonder where Keiji-Saw is.
Kaji-saw? Okay.
Yeah. He's shaking the cylinder as fast as he can.
Okay. And an image forms in front of you with like individual dots of sand. And at first it looks like an image of a giant building. And then the more you shake it, the more details get added to it. And then you recognize it. It's the front of the Temple of Twin Suns. And there's Kaji-Saw standing at the foot of the shallow stairway that leads up to the front door.
Tad gets done and looks over at Rick and goes, well, want the good news or the bad news?
Start with the good news.
She's still beautiful.
Bad news?
She's here.
Okay. I mean, that doesn't have to be bad.
So I think we should try to find a back door.
All right. You have the layout of the temple. So is there another way for us to go out of here or hide, or can we purposefully activate a trap on her?
I am going to compel the aspect of the plans for the temple, since this is detrimental to the two of you. So each of you will get a fate point.
Yay.
That there is no back door. There's only the front entrance.
I think the Temple of the Twin Suns would have a back door. Come on. Shoddy.
Two doors.
Shoddy. Yeah, exactly.
One
at least
for
two
each
doors.
sun.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they were buried.
Yeah, or they didn't like their second son. Anyways, what do you want to do now? We have to go that way to get out, or we make a new door.
We could try to make a new door. I do have this Sunblade or Starblade. What if we hide? And maybe when they see us missing, they'll just leave. There's no one here but us chickens.
I could hide well, but we've seen you hide.
I don't know. Let's just
As you
optimists.
stand there trying
debating.
to figure out what to do, you hear a raspy voice call out from the front door. Rick, Tad, I know you're in there. Come out now.
There's no one here but us chickens.
And you will taste wonderful after I roast you on my fire.
I feel like that doesn't mean what I want it to mean.
No, I don't think so. We already have the blade. You're outmatched. Leave now.
And you're outnumbered. Give me the blade and I will allow you to leave with your lives.
I don't give you the blade and you let us leave with our lives. See, son, this is a negotiation.
That's not the deal.
I'm changing the deal. Pray I don't alter it further.
All right. So we have a situation here.
Yes.
How are you going to approach this?
Tad, what you got there, buddy?
Ted just like, what if we give you the blade and you promise to only do good things with it?
Yes, I agree.
Tad's eyes dart to the right and left rapidly, and he looks at Rick. I want to believe her.
You definitely shouldn't. Remember last time?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
She stared at me with those big slitted eyes and smiled all pretty.
That's because she was about to eat you. That was her mouth, her jaw disgorging so that she could swallow you whole.
I remember.
Right. So I'm going to walk to the edge of where that trap was, just on this side of it, and I'm going to call her in and say, if you want the blade, come and get it.
Very well. And then just a minute later, she walks in and she's got like 10 guys with her, along with Mank, the merc, who's looking a little worse for wear. Since he had to walk all the way here, his boots are really muddy, and the bottom of his fur coat is dirty and muddy. He's got like tangles of jungle foliage stuck in his hair. And she stands there, and she has a midnight black blade in her hand, and it looks like you can actually see like glimmers of stars and galaxies in the blade. This is very obviously a star blade, and it is in fact the star blade she took from you last time.
Looks familiar.
Yes, it is my constant companion.
I think we should relieve you of it.
You are welcome to try, but I will take yours and have a pair.
You are not welcome to try, and you will not.
I think differently. I will.
Can I be your constant companion?
With the blade? Yes.
Okay, you give me that blade and then I be your constant companion. I agree.
Yes, I agree as well. He gets the blade and he's your constant companion.
Yes, yes. Good plan.
No, the blade is mine. And she's going to snap her fingers and point at one of her guys, who looks like he's in complete body armor. And it's all metallic, but it's flexible and everything. And she says, Rogar, send them in. And then Rogar kind of nods and says something in a grumbling voice. And from the entrance, stalk 3 Raptor Borg troopers.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Yep. They look like Jurassic Park raptors, but they've got feathers tufted here and there, and then they have metal plates on their bodies, and they stalk towards you, and they're doing the whole like looking side to side as they slowly walk towards you.
All right, I'm going to wait for them to get in front of me, and then I'm going to purposely trigger the trap, diving out of the way to trap them inside the water trap.
Okay. Give me a roll.
All right.
That was a crappy roll.
Any way to assist somebody in this system?
Yeah. You can either apply your approach to help him, and he'll get a +1 if you have that approach above a 0. Or you can roll to create an aspect, which he can then invoke.
Why don't you do that?
Roll to make an aspect?
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be just like we know where the trap is, or we've already mapped this or something.
Yep. I was going to say, knowing the kind of the geometry and the layout of the area, Tad knows the best way to get Rrrick out in the straightest possible path and not get caught up on something.
Okay. Sure. What approach are you rolling?
Clever.
So sounds good.
That's a 4. That's what I rolled.
Perfect. That beats the difficulty of 2. So now you have created that aspect, which has a free invoke on it, which, Michael, you can invoke for free.
I will invoke that for free, and that gives me a 3.
Oh, perfect. I was rolling quick to get out of the way, and I got a 0. So the raptors stalk forward, and then just as you jump forward, they screech in their head leaning forward, mouth open way, and they just start tearing across the room towards you. You trigger the trap, you jump out of the way, boom, the walls slam closed, and you hear all 3 of the raptors screaming in anger and confusion, and you hear the trickle of water as it slowly starts to fill the trap.
It's going to be hard to get out of there without thumbs. And that is just one trap that we know of. So why don't you just get out of here before things get bad?
Rogar cries out, "No, no!" And Kaji-sa says, "Silence!" And he shuts up. She steps forward angrily and sweeps the blade in front of her. You are not leaving here with that blade. I am.
You want to trade? You know
No.
this one, I'll have that one.
That's horrible.
That's
I
unreasonable.
want both of them.
No, that's greedy.
Okay. So she yells out, enough of this. And then she reaches out and points a clawed finger at you, Rick, and says, die.
Don't do that.
No, yes, I resist that.
Yes, you do. I am using Clever to make a ranged attack with her blood magic.
Okay.
And you can, how are you resisting this?
So is it like a physical manifestation of something coming towards me?
No, she is, you feel your blood start to heat up inside you, and she's boiling you from the inside.
Okay. I'm not sure what to do here.
You could probably roll forceful to defend it just by toughing it out.
Okay. I was leaning that way because I am like part dinosaur. I assume that means they're like cold blooded. So being warm would actually not hurt me. Like it would take a higher temperature before I was affected.
Possibly,
So,
yeah.
So I'm going to grit my teeth and just like kind of laugh at it. That's a total of a 4.
Okay. That is better than me. Oh, no, it's not. I got a 4.
Okay.
So we're tied. So that was an attack on my part. You don't actually take any damage, but I do get a boost.
Okay. And just further explanation, what exactly? I know we talked about it, but I don't think we explained it. What is a boost?
Okay. Boost is a floating +2 that I can apply to a future roll.
Okay.
You can name boosts, but I typically don't do that because they just disappear so soon.
Okay.
Because as soon as you invoke a boost, it just goes away.
Gotcha.
It's not like an aspect. It doesn't hang around.
Okay.
And then we'll go ahead and go into combat.
Okay.
Because she wants to subdue you and take the blade.
And we do not want that to happen.
Right.
So I will quickly throw my laser javelin at Mank. I want to try to take out the named lieutenants first.
Okay.
So, eat laser javelin, Mank.
All right. And he'll
4 total.
roll quick to get out of the way. That was a 0.
Ooh.
Okay. So you hit him. And you succeeded with style.
Which I'm going to invoke my stunt or leverage my stunt so I get to roll another attack. I'm going to go ahead and,
okay.
Can I wait to see if he's out? I assume he's not out yet, but.
He's out.
Oh, okay.
He is not anyone consequential. Your laser javelin strikes him in the chest and he flies backwards and actually flies out of his fur coat somehow. So his fur coat is laid out and he's laid out behind it.
Perfect.
And your laser javelin's in your hand again and ready to throw.
All right, so I will throw it at one of the other, the ones in the mecha suits.
Okay.
Yeah, because those were at the
Rogar.
Ooh, nice. That is a 5 on my quick that time.
All right. He got a 0.
Yeah.
So you throw your laser javelin and it strikes him. I got a 0. You got a 5, so that's going to be 5 shifts. Yeah, you're going to take him out with that.
Nice.
So laser javelin hits, and he flies backwards as well, and clang onto the stone, and he just stops moving.
All right, I'll look up at KG Saw, or is Kaiji Saw? How did you say it?
Kaji Saw.
Kaji Saw. Sorry, Kaji Saw. It seems that your number advantage is slipping away. Why don't you slither away and end this now?
Who goes next?
Tad.
You let her go next?
No,
Tad?
Tad.
All right.
You could slither into my room. Anyways, I had a thought.
Are you feeling froggy?
You said that there's I'll call it skylights that the sunlight was coming down.
Yeah.
Perfect. Are they open or is there actual?
I
windows,
imagined
so to speak?
it could be either way. Honestly, what works better for you?
Nothing there, because what I was going to try to do is call some plants in to come down and try to grab us and get us out. using my
Okay,
element
great.
manipulation, but I don't know if I have to actually see them to do it or not.
We know that they're out there, so that
Okay.
makes sense. Fiction
Mhm.
says yes, it makes sense. Let's go ahead and roll with it.
All right.
And I do think that you're not going to get the +2 for creating an aspect because there aren't any plants right here where we
Correct.
are.
Yep.
So just go ahead and make your create advantage.
All right.
I don't think anyone can defend against it, so it's just going to be versus a difficulty of 0.
All right. So I got a 4.
Okay, so you have what's the aspect you're creating?
We'll
Mobile
go,
vines.
escape vines.
Okay, I like it. Escape vines, and you have 2 free invokes on those.
Excellent.
So that was your action.
Yep.
And who goes next? It would have to be Kaji because
yeah.
you guys
So
were
say
already
you
went.
guys.
Looks like
Yep.
our ride's here, so we're gonna have to cut this short.
Yep. Let's go.
And Kaji screams out, "No, that's my blade!" And she's going to rush forward. And who's got the blade?
I do.
Ted, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rick does.
Rick does. She is going to rush you and try and cut you down
Okay.
with the sword she's holding. So I think this is going to be forceful because she's running right at you.
Well, this Rick is
Ooh,
going to
good
roll out of the way.
I see what you did. You've been waiting for a while
I
for
have.
that
I've
one,
been
haven't
set
you?
on that one from the beginning. Yeah.
It was good that you never gave up.
I got a 4 to quickly
Okay.
roll away.
All right, I got a 4 forceful, but I'm going to go ahead and use my boost, which gives me a 6. So unless you want to spend any fate points to up your defense.
Could I use one of the invokes on the vines that were already starting to move backwards?
They haven't gripped you yet. You
Okay.
haven't started your escape yet.
Okay.
He just created them. They're there.
Okay.
So.
All right, then I will. Yeah, I'll use one of mine. So yeah, I'll use the layout of the temple again. Like I happen to roll just into the right place that her swing can't. Like there's something between us as well.
Sure. She swings and the star blade slams into an overhanging stone ledge or something.
Yeah.
And so you hear a clang as the stone does not give, and neither does the blade. And the blade's left kind of vibrating a little bit in her hands. And then I have a bunch of guys left to go. And I will just treat them as one NPC because rolling individually for every single one of them does not sound like fun.
No.
And they're going to rush forward and try and overpower Tad, since he's not the one involved in the combat with Kaji-sa.
Makes sense.
No. Useless.
All right.
Reach.
So they rush forward to forcefully dogpile on you. I got a 6.
Oh, well, I'm going to try to carefully get out of their way.
Could you quickly shapeshift into one of them so they don't know who they have? It's like Spider-Man, like you all stand up pointing at each other.
Wow. Okay, so I got a 2 total. So you got 4 above me.
Okay.
So I could invoke one of my aspects. So I'll do the a toad-legged sorcerer, so I'm hopping up as they come charging in. Hopefully they'll all run into each other.
Okay.
That's great.
So I can re-roll, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's a little better. That's a 3 instead of a 2. Not a ton better, but.
So 3 total?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got a 6. So that's still 3 above where you're at. So they pile onto you. And so you're now restrained,
Okay.
as they're holding you. And I get 2 free invokes on that. Okay. And then we'll be back on top. Tad, what do you do now that you've got Kaji-sa's whole crew on top of you?
Steal Michael's idea and shapeshift to try to look like one of them and try to sneak out from underneath the dog pile in true cartoon fashion.
Okay.
All right, so that'll be sneaky.
For sure. I got a 2 on my roll.
I got a 3.
Okay. So you shift into one of them and cry out, "He got away!" And then they all just kind of stand up and look around, and it's true. The centaur that they all leaped on is not here anymore. And I think that everyone's too concerned to actually count and see how many of them there are. So then you kind of sneak away. Who goes next?
We'll go with Rick.
All right. So I will. I'm still right next to Kaji-Saw, so I'm going to use the blade. I want to take a swing at her, and I will use that one invoke. I'll call forth its name and also get to do the mental attack at the same time.
Okay. And you're attacking quickly or flashily? How are you doing that?
Flashily, yeah.
Okay. So you're striking a pose, calling out its name.
Oh
and
yeah, I'm
attacking
doing
her.
like the circle around, and the light of the blade is starting to flow and grow. Like I'm, doing twirls behind the backs and all kinds of stuff, and it looks amazing. And I shit you not, I rolled 4 pluses, so that gives me a 6 on my quick attack or my flashy attack.
All right. I will be quick to try and block it. I got a 1 total. So yeah, no kidding. I think I'm going to, let's see, you're at a 6, I'm at a 1. Even if I invoke something to get a 3, you still succeed with style.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make much sense for me to spend that. So you'll succeed with style to hit her. Actually, this is an attack. So yes. 1 versus 5 is 4. I'll go ahead and I'll mark a box number 2, and I'll take a mild consequence of numb arms from the impact. And then you go ahead and use the stunt against her with the weapon. So you call it its name. Oh, never mind. It doesn't do a separate attack. It just allows her to not add her approach
to
your attack, to her defense. Yeah, okay. So I need to add 2 to the consequences she took. So I'm gonna bump the numb arms up to a moderate consequence.
Okay.
And it's going to be
Dazed?
we'll call it dazed arms. Yeah. Useless arms.
Noodle arms.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's like, ah! The blade falls to the ground. And who goes next? I assume she does.
Yeah.
She is going to try and kick the sword away so that you can't get it.
Gotcha.
That's what she's going to try and do. And because you are right there in front of her, you can defend against this action she's trying to take.
All right.
So her arms are noodly and useless, and she can't pick up the blade. So she's going to try and stomp a foot on it and slide it away. And I think that's going to be forceful.
I'm going to block with forceful. I'm just put my big honking leg down that can't step where I want it to and try to keep it from moving.
Okay.
Oh, not bad.
Oh, no.
That's a 4 for me.
Roll. Okay. I am going to invoke her motivation of I must come out on top to re-roll.
Okay.
Because I got 3 minuses and a plus on
nice.
my roll. That wasn't much better. Okay, so I got a +1 to my roll. Where were you sitting at?
I had a 4 total.
Okay. All right, so you succeeded with style, so now you have a boost.
Okay.
Which you can apply to future actions. And she tries to kick the sword away, and Rick's big honking foot slams down on the hilt. And there is a kind of a quivering clang as the blade vibrates back and forth between the 2 impacts. And then all of my guys, what do my guys do? They're going to spread out and try and find Tad, this centaur toad sorcerer, because he's got to be around here somewhere. So they'll try and see through your disguise again.
Okay. Okay. So sneaky opposed, it says.
Ooh. That was
Oh,
good.
eesh,
I got a
that's
5
not
this time.
good. I got a 0. So
Okay. So they start looking around, and what does Tad do that gives him away?
I think Tad was trying to sneak up on Kadisaw, and he was reaching up to grab the sword. He's trying to time it to grab the sword out of her
Okay.
hand as she's noodling around. And I think they kind of spot him there and think it's odd that one of theirs would be trying to take the sword away from her.
Hey guys, there he is, one says, and Tad looks back at him, and the illusion falls away. And then that's the end of this round. We'll go back on top. Tad, what do you do?
Well, now that Tad has been spotted, Rick, is it time to leave?
Grab the sword. It's like it's literally at my feet, ungrabbed, so it's just there for the taking.
Oh, her sword fell?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got noodle arms.
She's got noodle arms. She couldn't hold
Gotcha.
onto it.
Then yeah, Tad's gonna try to scoop up that sword and head out.
Sure.
He's gonna try to carefully pick it up so he doesn't cut himself.
Okay.
Which I think at this point we should all be on the other side of them. Like I think even though we were going to go out the vines, I think at least in my head, we've now switched places. And since Kajisaw's not really hurting us, like we should be able to just run that way, right? Is that how you're seeing it?
Good.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. So yeah, go ahead. She's going to try and defend against you picking up this blade because she really, 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 really wants the blade.
I got a 2 total.
Okay. She'll be clever about it, trying to flick the blade up with the point of a toe and get it spinning or something like that, which doesn't help a whole lot. But I got a 5.
All right. I invoke, the most I can add is what, 2, you said?
Yes.
You can re-roll if you rolled terribly, but if you can't get to that anyways, it doesn't matter.
I'd have to roll perfect.
Michael does have a boon floating around.
Oh, I do have that
could
boost,
offer you.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I will give you the noodle arms boost.
Oh, and there is a free invoke on the useless arms consequence because you guys did give that to her. So you could use that as well.
All right, so if I use both of those, that would give me a 4, which would put me at a 6 then.
Okay. And I had a
5.
Yes, I had a 5. So you succeed. Da 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 da. You have the blade in your hand.
I got it.
Does he learn the name and its powers?
Yes.
Oh.
It's Tagayan, the Black Sun. And you can, while sneakily attacking, you can loudly invoke the name of the weapon. If you do, you gain a +2 attack, and then after the attack, you immediately disappear.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Nice.
Okay, so who goes next?
I think we'll stick with Rick.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to turn and hold my blade towards all the enemies and start walking backwards, kind of pushing Tad behind me with like my butt. Basically, I'm covering our way out. He has his sword, I have mine, and I'm just keeping the bad guys in front of me as we walk backwards down the red carpet.
Okay. And are you trying to intimidate them to keep them from following you?
Yeah, definitely. I'll slash out with my blade, and I'll be like, "You don't even know the power of this blade. I can melt your minds by thinking of your names." Just like saying silly stuff.
Sure. Make the roll. Oh, that was terrible.
That is a 4.
I got a 1. So all of them are going to be cowering back. And they are essentially taken out of the scene. You've got 2 Starblades. They know the power of the Starblades based on watching Kaji-sa. Nope, we're out. We're not going to do any of this. Kaji-sa will also roll to resist. And I got a 3. What was your roll? You got a 4? 4. Okay. So she is going to also stay back, but she calls out after you, "This isn't over. I will hunt you down and I will take both blades from your cold dead hands."
Tad will look forward to seeing you again.
That's true. But could we make it a live warm hand on a beach with purple water?
and she says something to you in the spitting Saurian language. And both of your faces look alarmed and shocked. Although, because it's a children's Saturday morning cartoon, we don't translate what she said.
Yeah. We're just like, it's like an I Am Groot. Whoa, hey, come on. That's below the belt. That's disgusting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And then once we're clear, we're going to turn and just run.
Okay. And you run. Yeah. Do a hopping scamper. And so you'll crash into the forest, and there will be a few scenes of you leaping over gullies or climbing rocks or tree deadfalls, that kind of thing. And then you burst out into the out of the jungle and take a big, deep breath of the clean, fresh grasslands air. And you are free of Kaji-sa and her minions. They have not followed you, and you have been successful. You have both Starblades now.
We will jump back on Mank's motorcycle that we hit earlier, and then I will grab the shaky stick and think, where is Rick Jr. now? And I'll start shaking the thing. And we can cut before we find out if you want it or whatever. Yeah, I see it's like riding off into the sunset as I'm making this very awkward joke-inducing gesture.
And as you motor away on the giggle cycle, the screen is slowly replaced by little pixels that form a monochrome image of a younger version of Rrrick Barkton standing at the what is it? Standing like up in a crow's nest of a sailing vessel, and kind of hanging off of it and looking in the distance.
To the sea, Tad. We're headed for the sea.
Has it got purple water?
It looks black to me now, but I don't know. That could just be the same thing. It's kind of a gray color.
Really use a vacation.
And the giggle cycle hits a bump and says, ow! And then you guys go over a hill and disappear. And that's the end of the episode.
Excellent. That was a lot of fun, Devon. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad it was fun.
So was there anything, again, obviously we're sampling adventure, the Masters of Umdaar. Was there anything that maybe didn't come out in the play that you thought was a particularly neat thing about the setting that you, again, would, because we want people to go check it out, hopefully buy it, sort of a thing. Was there anything that maybe didn't come out that you would think would be enticing for someone to check out?
The full range of bioforms is pretty awesome. The generators that they have for you to roll on and the different things that you can select for your characters are pretty awesome. There's a lot of different weapons, a lot of different stunts you can choose from, and magical powers. We saw a few magical powers, but there are a lot in the book. For the size of it, it's only like 40 pages or so long. But there's a lot of content in there for a lot of fun games. And they have a new cliffhanger mechanic in there, which is what we used for you getting out of the trap. That worked really well. I wasn't sure how it was going to work in practice, but it worked really well. And I thought it was a lot of fun and added some stuff to the fiction that we had.
Very, very cool. So Chris, any thoughts here before we sign off?
I mean, I've played Fate a couple times. I think this is the first time I played Fate Accelerated. I like that a lot better. Problem I have with Fate is it becomes a word game, and I can word things the right way that I'm invoking everything and I'm rolling as many dice as I can. I like the fact you just roll all the dice. If you succeed, great. If not, try to be creative and invoke something now. And that actually stumped me more to try to think of it after the fact instead of before I actually describe what I want to do. So I kind of like that. I like the setting, kind of almost a little lighthearted in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. The Saturday morning cartoon thing was what drew me to this one more than some of the other settings.
Yeah, I kind of like that. And I liked how you were, describing the monolith and stuff. It really, I don't know, it sunk well in my brain. It was quick and easy for me to understand your descriptions.
Yeah, you're very good at that.
Thank you.
Yep.
So
I enjoyed it a lot too. Thank you.
Yeah.
So for
I
anyone
had a lot of
listening,
fun.
for anyone listening now or in the future, this is part of our sample adventure series where we take a look at a game system or setting that we've never played before through the lens of the provided adventure in that source book or campaign guide or core book. So again, this was the Masters of Umdaar setting for Fate Accelerated. If you had any fun with this, you thought this was a cool idea, we do multiples. We've already had probably half a dozen we've already done that you can find on the YouTube channel or audio only. And we have many, many more planned for the future, various game systems. One of the next one we're looking at is doing an original cast of the Star Trek Adventures game. So we're going to have a Bones and a Spock and a Kirk. We have a few others that basically they kind of come up as they come up, but we're hoping to do at least a couple of these every month. Chris, tell everybody where they can find you and sign off. Give them your socials where they can find you on that kind of cool stuff.
Twitter, Burlew_Chris, or like I said, catch me on Smuggler's Blues, the continuation of the redemption story every other Monday. And then you can catch me every other Wednesday doing detention with you, and then every other Thursday doing Dragonlance on the RPG Academy.
Busy, busy man. Devon, again, dude, it was so cool to get to hang out with you. I actually think this might be the first time you've ever ran a game for me. And dude, you were an excellent GM.
Thank you.
I agree.
I'm glad you guys had fun.
Absolutely.
I had a lot of fun running it.
And again, where can people find you or your work on the interwebs? Plug away, sir.
I am on Twitter at shark_bone. That's usually where I hang out. And then I do have a blog, which I don't update as frequently as I should. But if you want to see what the inside of Devon's brain looks like, it's at sharkbone.us.
Excellent. As for myself, of course, Michael, you can find most of what I do at the RPG Academy, including all these sample adventures. The Detention, as Chris mentioned, we do that every other week. It's a streaming show. Really, those are the big things that I'm focused on right now. Like, we still have some stuff going on with the podcast, but for the most part, I'm focused on the sample adventures right now. I still have a Farm to Fable, which is a Smallville rewatch podcast that I do. And I recently started a podcast called Healthy Minds Alliance through my service with AmeriCorps, which is a short form interview series where we talk to people who are in local communities making a difference with mental health education and awareness. I'm very passionate about that, and I hope more people would check that out. And then hopefully come back here and listen to more of these in the future. And we will sign off as we always do here at the Academy with, if you're having fun,
You're doing it right.
thanks, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah.